Hey traders, Control the Trade here, and we're taking a look at CLOV, or Clover Health, ticker CLOV. Looks like it's in a nice little short squeeze here within a huge downtrend. The important line on the chart here I have is 10.07. We spiked right below it here, got rejected, then spiked through it again, and now we are just above that number. I think daily closes above that number, just off the top of my head. I'm doing this kind of impromptu. Would be strong for this stock, and we could get some more squeeze out of it. Let's take a look at a couple more time frames here. This hasn't been around that long, so there's not that much tape for us to go off of, unfortunately, which is not ideal for a chartist. So we look at our weekly chart here. Again, it looks like that 10.07 area is going to be important. Closing above last week's high of 10.03 would be important on the weekly, and then 10.82 on the high on this candle. 20-week moving averages up here at 11.21. So we're getting a nice little, maybe we found the bottom here. There's definitely a lot of volume. This huge breakdown, ugly candle on the weekly chart. But the overall trend is definitely down. You're creating this longer term bear flag pattern here. So maybe you keep moving up and you squeeze a little more. But there's many different areas where it could be rejected, and then you get a move back down to 10.07. So 10.07 is kind of the line in the sand here. I'm back on the daily chart now. I don't think it's really worth looking at the monthly. Again, this hasn't been around long enough, so I don't really trust this read on this stock that much, other than kind of the short-term numbers that I'm looking at, 10.07 for example. Okay, now we're over in Finviz, and I just wanted to look at the current short float. It's not necessarily perfectly up to date. That's an extremely high short float, and we have a lot of volume today. It's just something to be aware of. You want to know what the short float is. And now that I'm looking down here, not that I don't really pay attention to the news necessarily, but you can see here they even had an article here about it. It's an apparent squeeze of massive short interest reminiscent of GameStop. I don't know how true that is, but even that headline can help spark the charts. And once the charts are in motion, the news narrative follows. Back on the daily, so any close above 10.07 I find to be bullish right now. And looking at the 10-minute chart, you can see we're really dancing around that area right now, the 10.07. We're getting rejected. Now when we started this video, I think we were at 10.12. Now we're down to 9.83. Me personally, this is not a stock that I'd want to hold. This is strictly a day trading vehicle. Now, if you got in at a really low price and you believe in this company, that's a different story. That's up to you. Again, this isn't investment advice or anything like that. I'm strictly looking at charts, time frames, psychology, and important numbers on the charts. As always, we have to do the bear case too. So I would say if you start to close below the 50-period moving average here, which is all the way down at about 9.12, then you still have a lot more room to the downside, and you'll be consolidating within this up move that's within this longer term downtrend. So you really have to start clearing 10.07 first. That would be like the first step, and then start closing above, say, 11, 12, that area, to get a little more momentum, or squeeze momentum, basically a little more squeeze out of it, and then you can start getting those parabolic gap ups. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's one of the characteristics of a stock like this. You'll see a move like that. You'll see a gap up. You'll see a nice short squeeze. But really, let's see how this thing closes on the day, on the week, and then we'll have more puzzle pieces to make a higher probability decision on how to trade it. Right now, I'm personally not going to touch this, but I'm going to set some alerts and see if there's any good opportunities to trade it. Hope this video was helpful. Please leave any comments and like the video if you enjoy this type of analysis. And please check out my other videos. And remember, don't let the trade control you.